Lukas,
Yes.
welcome to UK, your first
Thank you.
clinic here.
Yes.
We'd like to thank you for accepting our invitation, and it was
course.
a long process, but
Yeah.
you're finally here. We just wanted to kind of sit down with you. This is the second day of the course, and just kind of get a little background about who you are, introduce yourself to some of the UK crowd, and have a quick chat about some questions.
Okay,
like that.
so,
maybe just tell us, like,
My own introduction goes like this. Born in Czechoslovakia, former Czechoslovakia, now Czech Republic. Immigrated in 1982 into the United States, and I've been living there ever since for the last 36 years. And anyway, since I was a child, I loved archery. Of course, it was under communism, it was impossible to do anything like it. It was deemed to be too bourgeois. Okay, so I had to wait until I got to the States. And then eventually I was able to acquire a couple of horses and learn how to ride. I'm basically self-taught. I never really took any formal lessons in riding. So the beginnings were pretty hard. I was already making bows as a hobby. So naturally those two eventually came together when I learned how to ride. And eventually I started basically riding bareback and imitated the North American Indian archer, like the Plains Indians, basically shooting at hail bales in the field.
I think a lot of people maybe misinterpret that they can make every horse,
No, you cannot
suitable
make every
for it.
horse
Some
do
are
it. No,
just
some
not.
are not made for it. Just like people, horses have different characters. Some are calm, some are high strung, spooky, this and that. So that type of horse you don't want. You're looking for an animal that has a good spirit, but also good mind. Okay. Because obviously once you drop the reins and you're shooting, you're trusting the animal. And if you cannot trust the animal, you cannot focus on the shooting. So yeah.
There is some type of spiritual level
Yes,
that comes
absolutely.
along with it.
Yes.
Whether you're religious
Yeah.
or not, whatever.
Yeah.
You feel that relaxation, that
Yeah.
therapeutic aspect of it.
It's a mind over matter. It's one being outside of oneself, looking down at oneself, basically controlling the situation in a sense. I don't know how else to explain it. It is truly a spiritual experience, and I myself personally look at it as such. Yeah, it is a meditative process. It is a mind over matter type of a deal, and most people do not understand it. They basically talk about the physics, the mechanics of the shooting, but that's about where it ends. It begins and ends. Okay, for a lot of the people, but there is more to it, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, as we well know from either Bible or even Quran or Hadiths, how it talks about the archer.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think that needs to be brought forth and clearly explained to people, so they can take a little bit more from it than just the mechanics of the shooting.
We also been talking about this balance of quality and quantity.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into issues of how competitions are being changed today and all that. That's a whole other topic.
Right.
But there seems to be somewhat of an emphasis on speed, which you need, of course.
Yeah, of
There's
course.
an element of speed, but at the same time, we don't want it to take away from the quality of each shot.
The problem in modern horseback archery is too much emphasis on speed of knocking and getting the arrow off the string, but not enough emphasis on the accuracy in archery, where every shot matters. Okay, it only seems to be the preoccupation with sending forth into the target as many arrows as possible and as short of
Hoping
time as
one hits.
possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not really actually how it was done in the past, and I think many people do not understand it. So the horseback archery today is headed in a direction that's not necessarily connected to the tradition. It's not organically growing out of the tradition that we had that was lost. Okay, it is a little bit of it's shooting bow and arrow from the horse, surely, but that's about it, where it begins and where it ends.
Yeah.
And so we need to sort of rein it back a little bit and have some new rules, I feel, and adjust the courses, times, distances between the targets and all this stuff, where there is really more focus on accuracy rather than just putting as many arrows into the target as you possibly can, see which one sticks.
Okay, that's good. Well, we need to get back to shooting. So we pray that God protects you
All right.
brings you back to the UK time and time again, and keeps us in touch with you.
Absolutely.
At least, and protects you, and
Yeah.
keeps you doing all this good work that you're doing.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Yep. Thank you.
Sir. All right, let's go.
Same to you.
All right.